podcast. I'm Jimmy Fedizzi alongside Neil Villapiano. We hope you're doing well. As always, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to listen to us. We really do appreciate it. Before we get started, questions, opinions, Twitter and Instagram. If I can speak English, that'd be great. At Bottomline WMCX and on Twitter at the NVP Show. Use hashtag Bottomline. Leave a voice message on the Anchor app or at anchor.fm. And please, if you are watching on YouTube, leave a like and a comment down below. Helps out tremendously. And please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss a single episode. And please make sure you subscribe on all audio listening platforms. Just include Jimmy when searching for this podcast. Neil, first of all, it's a new week. First episode that you're on with me this week. How's everything with you?
Everything's going okay. Obviously, just like any other week, just getting as much work done as possible. I got a new YouTube video coming out on Mofobo later on today, actually at around 3 p.m.
Nice.
So that's already set up and everything. So a little bit ahead of the game this week, which is good. Just constantly trying to get, content out there, coming on here obviously as well. And, just taking care of myself in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I 100% feel you there. And plus, it is absolutely gorgeous outside right now on the Jersey Shore, November 4th, 2020. It's going to get close to 60 degrees today. And you know what? I am absolutely loving it. I'm in such a great mood. However, before we get started with what we want to talk about today, again, I know I have strictly addressed that this is not a political podcast. And no, I am not getting political. So please take a chill pill, everybody. Don't leave this podcast. I'm not getting political here, but I just want to say this really, really quick. I know there's a lot on our minds right now with everything that's going on, but I just want to say this. No matter what the outcome is, if we can all just learn to be civilized adults and just learn to agree to disagree and just try to work things out, that's pretty much all anybody can ask for in this society, because the world needs kindness now more than ever. With this year being so anxiety filled and everybody going through a lot, especially with what's going on right now, like I said, I can't think of a better time to just spread kindness. No matter who you're talking to, no matter who the person is, they could be your worst enemy. Just be kind. That's all we're asking, regardless of the outcome. Please just spread kindness to one another. Just learn to be civilized adults, and let's all get along in this country. I just wanted to get that out there really, really quick, just to get that out there. I just had to get that off my chest. I apologize, but just be kind to one another, please. We can't stress that enough around here, especially during a time like this. But anyway, with that out of the way, Neil, we're halfway through the NFL season already. It's hard to believe.
Shockingly.
It's shocking. Yeah.
Halfway through this.
Yeah, I know. It went by so quick. And, given everything that's been going on with COVID and everything, the fact that we're halfway through really, really is amazing. It just shows that, the NFL pretty much knew there were going to be COVID tests. And, we were questioning how they were going to handle it. And so far, it seems like they're handling it pretty well. I mean, as of right now, at the time of this recording, there have been no positive tests among a couple of teams, at least. I can't confirm or deny that. But
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. And
No, please.
The 49ers just announced maybe 10 minutes ago that they shut down their facilities because of a positive test. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So. All right. So.
And that's one day before their Thursday night game. So it's.
Oh yeah, against the Packers. It's right.
Yep. I don't think we're going to have a Thursday night football game tomorrow.
Probably not, but we'll see what happens.
This is why, my argument, and I hate to be the Debbie Downer of the podcast, so to speak, but this is why I think that playing football this year was a waste of time. I don't personally think that it's been that enjoyable for a lot of people. And it's not just because, whether your team is good or not. I mean, it's the fact that there are millions of fans out there that don't get the opportunity to go see their team play. Every single week they're just watching their team from home. There's way more injuries to impactful players. I mean, we saw so many of the top players in this league get hurt, and not only get hurt, but have season-ending injuries 2-3 weeks into the season.
Yeah.
We had several COVID outbreaks. We've had teams get fined because they continued to not listen to the COVID-19 protocol. And to be quite frank with you, there aren't that many super ultra competitive teams this year. And then we just had the trade deadline yesterday, and nothing happened.
Yeah,
I know
that was probably the most uneventful trade deadline ever.
It was the most boring. It was uneventful. It was, nothing. We kept having these rumors, and everybody kept putting out their crazy trades. But the reality is that this year was going to be not a wasteful year, but a year where teams just kind of acted like the season doesn't count. And that's the problem with this whole thing. And I get why, having football and playing it, whether it's college, high school, flag football, the NFL,
right.
I get that, we need to have sports and we need to, have that to have somewhat of a distraction. But at the same time, these players are human and they're going to make mistakes and they're going to do things that are going to, disrupt what we're trying to get accomplished here. And this year, in many ways, and I'm just speaking for myself only, I don't know if I would be speaking for a lot of people, but I'm just I'm not really as entertained this year in football as I am in other years. Also, because that's the only sport that's really going on right now. I mean, no other sport going on. A lot of the games that I've seen have been, quite frankly, very boring or, just completely one-sided. There's just a handful of teams that are just flat out awful and have no business playing this year. Some teams have their best players out. I mean, the Niners have basically every single impactful player out. And it's like, well, this season is a wash. I mean, it's just, that's my whole point to this. So as much as I give the NFL credit for trying to get this season and trying to, give some form of normalcy to a lot of people, in the end, I just don't think it was the right call. And I feel bad for the Big Ten Conference in college football that they were forced by many people to play when they strictly were telling us that it would be a very bad idea. And as a result, you see the University of Wisconsin is going to be not playing now for 2, maybe even 3 weeks. Like their season's already gone. Their season's already done. They have no prayer of playing 8 games in the time frame that they have. And Nebraska's embarrassing itself by constantly bitching and moaning about, whether it was because they wanted to play football or that they were trying to schedule a non-conference opponent because they're trying to keep themselves in the hunt for, the college football playoff. It's, to me, honestly and truly, I think that playing football was a very bad decision because the cases are rising dramatically here in the fall and the winter is going to be very difficult as well. So, I'm very disappointed that a lot of people, forced people to do something that probably wasn't the right thing to do. But then again, at least we do have something to somewhat distract ourselves every week during this difficult time, still dealing with the pandemic. So there is some positivity to a lot of the negativity that I just brought up.
No, I mean, I don't blame you for what you said. You do make great points. I can't argue your points because there really is no argument with what you said. But I mean, the fact that we even got to the halfway point of the season is truly a big accomplishment. And I commend the NFL for doing that. Absolutely, 100%. But now that we are halfway through the season, we're just going to do like a mid-season review. We're going to talk about who we think the best team in the AFC is. We're going to talk about the best team in the NFC so far. We're going to discuss who we think will be Rookie of the Year, who is the MVP so far, the whole deal. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. So we're going to start in the AFC and pretty much the whole AFC. We're not going division by division because then we'd be here for 3 hours. But we're just going to go the entire AFC and the entire NFC. And if you look at the AFC, the Bills obviously mean major business. They're 6-2 with a 750 winning percentage. They're on top of the AFC East. You look at the Steelers, who are undefeated at 7-0, and they might go 8-0 this week because they're playing the Cowboys. But
I did give you credit. I did give you credit this past. I think it was yesterday when I was doing my episode for Mofobo podcast. I gave you credit for the fact that you did say that you had the Steelers going to the Super Bowl. Now again, we're only halfway through the season.
We still don't know if that's actually going to happen yet.
Right. But it's looking pretty good considering how the Steelers have been playing.
Yes.
So,
Yes. So far. But in the end, I could be totally disappointed, but let's worry about that when the time comes. But
yeah,
anyway,
of course.
you look at the Steelers, you look at the Ravens, obviously, who the Ravens, I mean, yeah, they're good, but there are some games where they just look flat. Like just flat out not impressive at all. But we'll dive into that another time. We have all season pretty
Well,
much.
I mean, I could simplify it for you in that simply that Lamar Jackson is just not an NFL quarterback. And I know that's gonna be a very controversial thing to say for a multitude of different reasons. I mean, one, obviously, I think some people might argue, and I know the most obvious one is probably that people will think that I'm racist because he is black and he's a runner and everything. But that's not really what I'm looking at, because I frankly, there are black quarterbacks that I've seen that are legit NFL quarterbacks, i.e. Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson. I mean, I even thought RG3 honestly had the makings to be
who by the way, is still in the league and is a backup to Lamar Jackson.
That's true. But I look at Lamar Jackson and I say to myself, this guy is a human highlight reel. He can really make some tremendous plays, not just scrambling, because obviously we know that he has that talent. But when he actually, makes a really solid throw, it looks pretty good coming off of his hands. The issue is that I don't think the Ravens have done a good enough job of developing Lamar Jackson, the passer. I think that they see his talent and they really, try to utilize it as much as possible. But at the same time, I think that they're not developing him correctly to be an all-around, very talented quarterback. If he became a better passer, then the Ravens would be a lot more successful. I think their defense is pretty good. And obviously they added Yannick Ngakoue, which is a huge upgrade. Obviously to add on with Calais Campbell, they do have pieces that they can be a really good defense. I just think that sometimes their offense, like you had mentioned, they kind of look lagged. They kind of look like that they're not moving and grooving against the Steelers, and albeit it was a pretty good game, back and forth, came down to the end. Lamar Jackson, again, did not make some really good throws. I mean, what was it? His second or third pass of the game? He threw a pick six. I mean, he's still a young quarterback and still, needs to be given time to learn and develop.
Also turned the ball over an additional 3 times against the Steelers. But to be fair, the Steelers defense is nothing to joke about. The
defense is honestly the best defense in football. There is no question. I don't think there's any debate to that. But at the same time, I think Lamar Jackson needs to develop his passing game a lot more. And that's not really that much of a knock on him as a quarterback, because he does have the mobility and the intelligence to make plays, when obviously things break down, and that's important. But if he's just going to run around a lot and not throw the ball, most likely he has a higher chance of getting hurt, of getting hit hard, hurting himself, and never being the same again. Kind of like RG3, who was ironically, like you mentioned, the backup now in Baltimore. So that's just my argument with why I think that the Ravens are not as good as people thought that they were going to be, because, again, I don't think the Ravens are utilizing Lamar Jackson 100%. I think that they need to develop his passing game a lot more. Maybe adding Dez Bryant like they just did, and maybe 2-3 weeks down the road, if he continues to, get himself in the football shape, maybe he could be a reliable weapon for Lamar Jackson. I don't know. They're just I just think they got to throw the football a lot more. I just really do. I know they have Gus Edwards and they do have Mark Ingram, but he's hurt. They can run the football very well, but running the football 75% of the time and only throwing it 25% of the time, especially the way the NFL game is played nowadays, you're not going to win football games. Lamar Jackson is 0-2 in his NFL career in the playoffs, and that needs to change as well. Because if he's not getting it done in the playoffs, how much longer are the Ravens going to be, excited to have Lamar Jackson as their quarterback?
Yeah, that's a fair argument there, but that pretty much sums up the Ravens there. So you got that. Then you have the Titans. Yeah, they lost 2 in a row, but you know what? I think they still look pretty impressive. And then you have the Colts, who are also 5-2. They're tied for the division lead in the AFC South with the Titans. So that's going to be an interesting race right there.
I think the Colts are showcasing themselves as to what this team could be, with what this team would have been like if Andrew Luck was the quarterback. I think that
yes,
the Colts,
absolutely.
I think that the Colts finally were able to build a decent team around Andrew Luck, but by the time they got to that point, it was too late. Like, Luck's body had completely just given up, and football wasn't fun for him anymore. But they took a gamble on, getting Phillip Rivers for 1 year, and Phillip Rivers has done a very solid job. And that defense is very good. I think overall, if they're able to get a franchise quarterback, because let's face it, I mean, how many more years does Phillip Rivers really have left?
Maybe like 2 years
left. 1 or 2 more years, probably. You might as well try to go get a franchise quarterback. That is why I argued last week on the Mofobo Network podcast that I felt that, if the Jets were going to officially move on from Sam Darnold and, tank for Trevor, so to speak, that I think they could have traded him to the Colts. I mean, they still could do that.
I did hear that argument.
But, trading him to the Colts would be good because Sam Darnold can still be a very, very good quarterback. And with a really good offensive line and really talented, weapons around him, I just think that he can
an actual head coach.
Right. Well, an actual offensive head coach, a guy, Frank Reich, who knows a thing or two about, making a quarterback into a Super Bowl champion. So
right.
Again, but I think the Colts are a team that's definitely going to make the playoffs, and I think that they could possibly win that division. It's probably going to have to come down to the last week or two between them and the Titans, because the rest of that division is not even close.
No. I mean, the Texans look awful. I mean, Jacksonville's Jacksonville. I mean, what more do you want? And then obviously
and now
AFC
we're hearing
West.
that Gardner Minshew's not even going to be playing this week because he got put on the COVID list. So
oh my goodness.
So
now who is their quarterback now?
I don't even know.
Exactly.
I honestly truly don't know who their quarterback is. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Exactly.
They should have traded for Blaine Gabbert, brought him back.
Oh my, really? You honestly think he would have done better?
Probably. Blaine Gabbert. I mean, he's not that much. He's not that much worse than Gardner Minshew.
Blaine freaking Gabbert, come on! And then obviously you go to the AFC West. You got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the reigning Super Bowl champions. I mean, what more can you say about them? I mean, yeah. Obviously, they technically had a bye week last week because they played the Jets. But look, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. He threw for 5 touchdowns last week. What more can you say about him? I mean, you obviously still have Tyreek Hill. You still have Travis Kelce. I mean, yeah, their defense is still suspect, but you know what? Their offense is nothing to joke about. So if you're asking me right now who I think the best team in the AFC is right now, that is a toss-up to me between the Steelers and the Chiefs. Because like I said, the Steelers are still undefeated. They have never started 8-0 ever. And like I said, they have a chance to this week because they're playing the putrid Dallas Cowboys, who we'll get into in a little bit. But you got that. And then, like I said, you have the Chiefs, who really, if you really think about it, we only really hype up the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes when they're in the playoffs. When do you hear all of this hype about them in the regular season? You don't really. You don't. Because there's all these other great teams ahead that are talked about way more than the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, because they play in Kansas City, they're not going to be talked about too much. But once they're in the playoffs, then all the hype starts to come about and say, oh, my goodness, how special is this guy? We already knew what Patrick Mahomes could be even before he got into the league. We already knew he was going to be a once-in-a-generational talent, like a Trevor Lawrence.
All right, stop right there. I have to interject and say, no, that is a false statement.
Oh, come on. You don't think he's a once-in-a-generational talent?
No. I'm going with what you just said before. I said, what I'm arguing is this. No, not many people thought that Patrick Mahomes was going to be as good as he is coming out of college.
Wow. Okay.
He came from a system that, ironically was coached by Cliff Kingsbury. He came from a system where he threw the ball 90% of the time. So, of course, his numbers are going to look tremendous. But the problem is that could he translate that to the NFL game? And that wasn't a guarantee. That was not a guarantee. Patrick Mahomes sat a year behind Alex Smith. Right. And learned that offense, and obviously had a great coach in Andy Reid. And obviously has tremendous talents in Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Travis Kelce, guys like that. He has tremendous talent around him.
And they just added Le'Veon Bell.
But my whole argument is this. No, I think that there is the case that's probably going to be made that Patrick Mahomes is a once-in-a-generational talent. I just want to give it another 2 years at the most just because I want to see him win a couple more, Super Bowls, because I don't want to put the crown on him right now, because I did a video 2 weeks ago about, who was the better overall quarterback talent, Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers.
Without question, it's Aaron Rodgers.
I went with Aaron Rodgers, and it's going to be that way until Aaron Rodgers retires. Most likely Patrick Mahomes is going to take over, with that spot. But what I'm saying is that if you go back to the draft analysis on Patrick Mahomes, it wasn't a guarantee. If he was a once-in-a-generational talent, he should have been drafted number 1 overall. The Browns should have taken him number 1 overall.
That's true. That's true.
No, that's what I'm saying. So that was my argument to that. And quickly to, you were saying, why did the Chiefs not get, as much attention? Obviously you made a good point. Kansas City, small market, middle of the country kind of thing. The other thing is this. We know that the Chiefs are good. We know that they're good. They don't need to be hyped up any more than they already are. There's no reason to. Fans and analysts like us get excited when it's teams that we didn't expect to be tremendous to talk about. So the Steelers, they're a great example. Nobody, except you basically, thought that the Steelers were going to be tremendous. I thought they would be a competitive team because their defense showed a lot last year, and they were really good last year.
Right.
This year, they just took it to another level. They took it into the stratosphere. What is most surprising is the offense and how good Big Ben looks this year. He's not, his turnovers have to slow down. Okay, he needs to calm it down.
That I agree with.
Like, he is a riverboat gambler. He will take risks. That's Big Ben. But you have guys like Washington, Juju Smith-Schuster. You have Claypool. You have James Conner in the backfield. You have a very solid offensive line. I mean, you have an offense that really can do a lot of damage. So
and Eric Ebron's actually been pretty decent.
And Eric Ebron, well, first of all, I don't know why nobody gave Eric Ebron, a contract other than the Steelers. Don't get that. But anyway, the Steelers, we talk about them more because it's a surprise. We didn't think that the Steelers were going to be as tremendous as they are. And we know that the Chiefs are just going to go out there and sling the football around and score 40 points. Like, we know that. We didn't know that about the Steelers. Okay? We talk more about the Patriots this year. Why? Because the Patriots are 2-5.
Oh,
they're 2-5.
God.
We talk about the Jets because they haven't won a game, and most likely they won't win a game. Right?
Nope.
We talk about the Tennessee Titans because Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry and that team is really, really good. I could really make a run at it like they did last year.
Yep.
They're a little bit less of a surprise than last year.
Dude, how hard were we rooting for the Tennessee Titans last year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, as a football fan, you always just want to see chaos. So yeah, it would have been cool to see the Niners against the Titans.
Right.
Nobody would have said that. The Chiefs got there, and rightfully so. They deserved it. They deserved it. But that's just my whole point with why the Chiefs don't get talked about as much. We know they're good. The only time we're going to talk about them is if they start losing 2 or 3 games in a row. Then we start wondering what's going on. Or if they get knocked out in the divisional round of the playoffs this year, we'll ask what happened. What's the problem here? That's my whole point to your.
No. I mean, you're definitely not wrong. And no, I mean, like I said, it's definitely a toss-up between those two teams for me. Is who's the best in the AFC, but I still gotta go with the Steelers, man.
Yeah,
I can't ditch on them now. Not when I picked them to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. I can't ditch them. I gotta ride with the Steelers here. Just because their defense is elite. Big Ben still got it, although he still needs to clean up the turnovers. He does, but he can still make big plays when you need him most. Absolutely. The offensive line is solid. He has weapons around him. And Mike Tomlin, I can't say enough about what a hell of a job he has done with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL, period, in my opinion. He is, in my opinion, I think he might be a Hall of Fame coach in the future. And if he's not even considered, I will laugh in your face. But
I think you can make the argument that he probably might be the second greatest coach in Steelers history. I mean, he might. If he does, here's the thing: if he does, goes to the Super Bowl and wins it this year, I think that will cement him as a Hall of Famer. I think right now it could be borderline, but he might not be a first ballot if he wins just one Super Bowl. Might be.
Oh no. I'm not saying first ballot, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
You could certainly make the argument. But I guess for me, again, just like you, it was a toss-up between Pittsburgh and Kansas City. And just like you, I'm going to go with the team that I still picked to win the AFC, and I got to go with the Chiefs.
Okay.
The Chiefs sit at 7-1. Obviously, they could have, if their defense had made some plays, they could have and probably should have beaten the Raiders at home. Something that the Raiders have not done in 4 or 5 years.
Right.
In Kansas City. I mean, it was arguably the best offensive performance by the Raiders, and the defense just kind of, really struggled. But after that loss, I feel like the defense has improved and gotten better. You look at Patrick Mahomes. He's completed about 67% of his passes. He's thrown for 2,315 yards, 21 touchdowns, and incredibly, Jimmy, 1 interception the entire season. He has thrown 1 interception. So you mean to tell me that in 7 of the 8 games, Patrick Mahomes did not throw a single interception?
That's unheard of in this league.
With defenses continuing to get better and more tough to analyze, the fact that he's still not turning over the ball is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal, especially because this guy, throws the ball sidearm, throws it while he's smiling, throws it behind his back. I mean, he makes these throws and they work out, because he's just that talented of a player.
Yep.
But I think the most talked about player on that offense has to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He has to be.
Oh my God.
You look at this guy.
That dude is so underrated. He's so freaking good.
He was drafted, with like the 29th or 30th pick, whatever it was, or the 31st pick in the NFL draft this past year. And a lot of people, said that was a steal. And it proved to be that way. He's done a very good job. Damian Williams opted out. He wasn't going to play this year. So the question was, who was going to take over at the running back position? Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he took over. 121 carries, 572 yards, and 2 touchdowns, which is, not bad. The Chiefs throw the football a lot more than they run it. But also, Helaire's done a good job coming out of the backfield as a receiver. 25 receptions, just over 200 yards. He's a very good all-around back. And now you're adding Le'Veon Bell, where Le'Veon Bell is probably going to get more of the load when it comes to being a receiving back. But if Helaire continues to run the football the way that he's running, I think he has a legitimate shot of getting to at least 1,000 yards rushing this year. I really do. But he just, becomes just another one of the million of weapons that Andy Reid has at his disposal on offense.
Yep.
The Chiefs defense, Damian Wilson and also Tyrann Mathieu are the guys that are really, kicking Mofobo and really doing a good job of, getting that defense. And Steve Spagnuolo, after that loss against the Raiders, has really, done a good job of getting more out of his defense and them making more plays. Also has to do with the competition that they're playing against. But nonetheless, I do think that the Chiefs, right now, even though they do have a loss, I think that they are the best team in football. And I would argue that if they were also undefeated, I think a lot of people would want to say the Chiefs than the Steelers.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
No, absolutely. But hey, I can't ditch the Steelers now, man. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Not after, like I said, not after I picked to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. I can't do it. So I got the Chiefs in the AFC. No, I'm sorry. You have the Chiefs in the AFC. I have the Steelers.
Right. You can't back off it now.
You might as well just absolutely
stick with it
not.
To the end, especially because,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Anyway, though. So now let's go to who we think is the best team in the NFC. So first of all, we are not talking about the NFC East because we know how atrocious that division is. Yeah, although we probably will when we go over disappointing teams, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Let's move on now. So we look at, first of all, the NFC North. We obviously everybody's talking about the Green Bay Packers, and they were discussing trading for Will Fuller and all this other stuff, and it didn't happen. And the trade deadline was uneventful, and everybody's just ripping the Packers for not getting Aaron Rodgers help when they should have in the draft. And I'm like, at least some people finally get it. What have we always said? Aaron Rodgers, talent-wise, is possibly the greatest quarterback that we've ever seen in our lifetime. That will not change unless Until he retires, and then, like Neil said, Patrick Mahomes takes over. But
Right.
I digress there. But you look at the Packers; they're 5-2. Unfortunately, they're coming off a terrible loss to the Vikings, and you got to give the Vikings a lot of credit there. They got a big win on Dalvin Cook's 4-touchdown game, so you got to give them credit there. But the Packers, they still need help getting Aaron Rodgers some weapons on wide receivers, and their interior linebackers are just bad. They are just absolutely atrocious.
Boy, do they miss Blake
Their defense
Martinez.
needs help.
Yeah.
But you got the Packers there. The Bears, look, I'm indifferent about the Bears at this point. I don't know who this team is. I mean, one game, they're absolutely tremendous with Nick Foles as their quarterback. The other game, Mitch Trubisky's their quarterback, and they suck. I don't know who the Bears are at this point, so we're just going to leave that alone. You go to the NFC South now, the Bucs. Look, I picked the Bucs to go to the Super Bowl this year. And if they really want to live up to that promise, after the way they looked against the Giants, they got a lot of cleaning up to do because they did not look impressive at all. They almost lost to a one-win football team, for crying out loud. And if they look as flat as they did against the Saints as they did against the Giants, Tampa Bay is going to have to answer a lot of questions here. I'm sorry.
I mean, I would argue that I think the Bucs just flat out didn't care. I think they just flat out. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that they went into that game knowing, look, we're playing a one-win Giants team that has very little to no talent and a quarterback that shouldn't even be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, I know you don't want to talk about that. Anyway,
I went on a little tirade about that last episode. And by the way, if you didn't check that out, please go do it. And I apologize to all headphone users in advance. But I digress. Go ahead, Neil.
But I just think that the Bucs just kind of took the Giants lightly. The Giants had a lot more to play for than really the Bucs did. That's just my argument, and I think that you saw that in the play calling that the Bucs made. You saw that how the defense, reacted. If the Bucs came out and 100% played the way that they're capable of playing, they should have beaten the Giants by 30 points.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why it got as close as it was, is because I think that the Giants, you have to give them credit to the fact that they played hard and that they tried their best. Their quarterback single-handedly lost them this game, and the Bucs got away with one. That's the way I look at it.
You got to admit this at least. Joe Judge is doing a fantastic job with this team, and they're actually playing hard.
I said it yesterday on my episode.
I did too.
I said that Joe Judge is the right coach for this football team.
Thank you.
I think that we obviously, I believe that the quarterback is the weakest link on this football team. I think it's pretty obvious at this point, considering how hard this team has played around, him. They're doing everything they can to help Daniel Jones out, but Daniel Jones is single-handedly turning over the football and losing games in the most critical moments of the games. And that, to me, just proves that it doesn't matter what type of talent that he has around him. He's just going to make those mistakes because he just doesn't learn from them. But going back to the Bucs, I think that the Bucs are fine. They lost to the Saints, but they play them this week. So this is that opportunity for them to get some revenge and to shake off that defeat. And I think they'll come out and play a lot better. I think now that they're about halfway through this season, the offense is finally clicking. Now it is Tom Brady, and they're finally getting things going. Their defense, needs to obviously make some adjustments, but Todd Bowles, being the great mind that he is defensively, he's going to make some things work.
He is such a terrific defensive mind. It's not even funny.
And look, the Saints offense does not wow you. It really doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
They haven't looked that good. I think this time around.
And Michael Thomas has been hurt. And do we even know if he's going to play this week?
I don't know. I don't think so. It doesn't matter. But the bottom line is that I think that you look at it, the Bucs are a better football team than they were in week one.
No question. Absolutely.
And they'll definitely be one of the top 3 teams in the NFC when it's all said and done.
Yeah, no, I tend to 100% agree with you. And then you have the NFC West. The Seahawks, look, as good as I think the Seahawks can be, Russell Wilson has been the main star on that team, man. He literally can turn trash into treasure. Not to say the team around him is trash. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. Don't, before you kill me, the team is not trash. But Russell Wilson, what this man has been able to do is just absolutely unbelievable. Obviously, his best target.
Can you elaborate on what you just said? Can you elaborate on what you mean by trash? I'm
saying the team around him is good, but it's not as impressive as I first initially thought. At least to me, Russell Wilson to me has been the main reason why they're 6-1 right now.
Metcalf are not good to you?
No, outside of DK Metcalf,
Tyler Lockett.
We already know what he is.
What about Tyler Lockett?
Tyler Lockett's good, absolutely. But other than that, who else do you got?
Carson?
Oh, I mean, yeah, he's good. I don't know. But anyway, anyway, but I'm not saying the team is trash.
You might be the only one that I think has ever said that
I'm not saying the team itself is trash. I mean, their defense could use.
You did say the word garbage. I'm just saying.
Their defense could use work, but other than that, their offense is solid. Absolutely.
Well, if you're talking about the defense, that has nothing to do with Russell Wilson.
No, it doesn't. But anyway, I digress. We're going to go on another rambling segment in a few minutes if we keep this up. But bottom line is, Russell Wilson, we all know what he is. He's a stellar quarterback, and the fact that he has not gotten a single MVP vote in his entire career is absolutely mind-boggling in my opinion. If he does not at least get one this year, I will absolutely go right in the streets of Seattle because that man deserves an MVP vote in my opinion. But we'll get to that if that time comes. But you look at Seattle, look, they're obviously one of the best teams in the NFC right now, along with Tampa Bay. Green Bay, you could argue to an extent, but like I said, they need a lot of help on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. But if you're asking me who I think is the best team of the NFC right now, it's a toss-up between Tampa Bay and Seattle for me. But I got to roll with Tampa. I still got to roll with Tampa Bay, bottom line, because I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. And, like Neil said, I 100% agree with him. I think Tampa Bay Bucks are going to be absolutely fine. Yeah, they looked flat against the Giants, but you know what? They'll have a chance to rebound against the Saints this week. And you know what? Tom Brady is still Tom Brady, man. And he is not slowing down anytime soon. And with the embarrassment of riches that he has, they're activating Antonio Brown this week, which is going to make their offense a lot more lethal than it already is with Gronk, Godwin, Evans, the whole deal.
Well, Godwin's out.
Well, Godwin's out. Yes, Godwin's out.
That's why they brought in Antonio Brown.
Yes.
Because Godwin is out.
But even still, their offense is definitely going to be a lot more lethal. And if Antonio Brown can actually stay on a freaking team and help his team win, then we're probably not talking about his off-the-field antics anymore. But that's another discussion for another day. But bottom line, I'm still rolling with the Tampa Bay Bucks as the best team in the NFC right now.
Here's a couple things. Number one, talking about Antonio Brown. Look, there is most likely the case, in my opinion, that he will probably be on the Bucks for all of 2 weeks. That's my opinion, because I think that the court system is going to be against Antonio Brown, and what will happen is that he will once again be suspended by the National Football League, and the Bucks will let him go. And look, Bruce Arians, he didn't want Antonio Brown. He doesn't want him. This is what you get when you have Tom Brady on your team.
Well, Tom Brady wanted him.
Tom Brady wanted him because Tom Brady fit. The only thing he honestly and truly cares about more than anything else is winning. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about, he might not care about Antonio Brown's off the field stuff that much. He cares about if he can help the football team win. This is why I said Antonio Brown going to Seattle would have been better, because it would have been an environment where Antonio Brown could have been safe. The team would have rallied around him. They would have tried to help him in many regards. But Antonio Brown did not want to go there, because I think the man is in somewhat denial of his issues. But that's an opinion that I will keep to obviously I said to you guys, but I'm going to keep mostly to myself.
It's all right.
First, another thing also is that I don't know if you mentioned the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC West, but they're 5-2.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've looked pretty impressive.
Yes, they're 5-2, and they're 2-0 in their division, which is crucial because one of those 2 wins was against Seattle. So if those 2 teams go down to the wire, the Cardinals could very well jump the Seahawks because of just the fact they have a better record against them in the division. And so, let's look at that. And again, also the Seahawks could very well be 7-0 had they won that game against the Cardinals 2 weeks ago. They in all rights, they probably should be 2-0, in my opinion. 7-0, excuse me. Or they should be at least 2-0 in the division.
Right.
7-0 overall. But I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks because, first of all, unlike you, they have a lot more talent than you seem to lead on to believe. DK Metcalf is a stud, okay? And I do agree with Stephen.
Absolutely,
I do agree with Stephen A. Smith's analysis 2 days ago. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, where he said that DK Metcalf was probably the second coming of Megatron. I do think that.
I absolutely agree with that.
The way that DK Metcalf plays the game and the way, the body type and everything, I think he can very well be that.
And do you see his speed? Do you see how fast he runs? I mean, my goodness.
And the fact that this man was like a second or third round pick is still beyond my own recollection.
That's absolutely a crime.
You have then the most underrated wide receiver in the National Football League in Tyler Lockett. Okay. And let me backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about DK real quick. 36 catches, 680 yards, and 7 touchdowns. That's really good. Tyler Lockett, 49 catches, 575 yards, and 7 touchdowns as well. So they have a duo that's really good. Oh, and by the way, if by some miracle Josh Gordon gets reinstated, there's another weapon.
Oh my God.
And that's why, again, if you possibly put, Antonio Brown, if he had chose to go to Seattle, on that team, that's the best team in the NFC by a lot.
Absolutely.
Now, Russell Wilson, what more can we say? This man has thrown he's nearly completed 72% of his passes, 2,151 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Russell Wilson is, without a doubt, an MVP candidate. And there is a reason why I think that Russell Wilson doesn't get any sort of voting on that, and I'm not going to get into that because that might be controversial to some.
Okay. No, fair enough.
It's more of, if you want me to say it, I'll say it, and I'll be bluntly honest. I think it has more to do with racism than anything else. I think that that's the reason. I think that Russell Wilson is a black quarterback, and also I think a lot of people, and I hate saying this too, I think a lot of people think he's an Uncle Tom. I really do.
Oh my
and that's
goodness.
why I think that he doesn't get any sort of voting and credit.
Well, he should.
He should, but again, you have to remember, perception is key in why these things happen the way that they happen. If the perception continues to be what I just said about Russell Wilson, he'll never win an MVP. He'll never be recognized for that because they'll always think, oh, well, he's not really one of us, so to speak. That's the problem. But anyway, Russell Wilson, without a doubt, is arguably having his best season of his career. There is no question. This guy is going to constantly put the Seahawks in the best position to succeed. Their defense, they don't have Jamal Adams right now. He's been hurt. So that's
right.
This is not, remember, Seahawks fans, this is not the Legion of Boom, okay? This is a defense that's going to struggle a little bit more. But if their defense continues to improve like it has the last couple of games, and if Jamal Adams comes back fully healthy, that defense is going to be very, very solid and going to be very competitive and very tough to beat. So I think that the Seahawks are the best team in the NFC, and I think that if they matched up with the Bucs, I think that the Seahawks would have an advantage. I really do. I think if it was a shootout between the two offenses, my money's more on Seattle than it is on Tampa. That's just me.
No,
and again, I picked Seattle to go to the Super Bowl, so I'm going to stick with my picks.
And there you go. That's it.
I think Seattle is the best team in the NFC, and I think they're going to prove it. I think that they should be 7-0, but again, obviously they didn't. And look, Pete Carroll, tremendous head coach in the NFL. Didn't work out for him at first in New England, and also with the Jets for a little bit, but it's worked out in Seattle, and this guy has continued to, create such a great environment, a great, not lackadaisical, but very calm, very, open environment in Seattle. And people enjoy going there, and people enjoy playing there despite the weather. They love playing for that team, and they love playing for Pete Carroll. So I think that's what's great. They've created a tremendous environment to play in Seattle.
No, it's definitely a fair point. And again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Stick with what you got, man. So You have the Seahawks, best team in the NFC. I have Tampa, best team in the NFC. And we mentioned MVP. Let's talk about that real quick before we get into most disappointing team in the AFC and the NFC. So to me, this is a bit tougher because I'm looking at two guys mainly, and they're both in the NFC. No, I'm sorry. One in the AFC, one in the NFC. I'm sorry. And that would be Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes, two quarterbacks who we mentioned before. And, you mentioned that Russell Wilson is possibly having his best season. But so is Patrick Mahomes. Because if you really, really think about it, so far this season, at the time of this recording, he has passed for nearly 2,315 yards, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a quarterback rating of 115. 115. When have you ever heard of that kind of quarterback rating before the National Football League? It's unheard of. That's video game-like numbers. So based on that, and considering the fact that talent that he has around him, Patrick Mahomes is my MVP of this year so far.
I had the same debate as you did. Obviously, again, I think it is between those two guys. I will add a third guy in there, Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, all right.
I'm going to add a third guy into that debate. I think Ryan Tannehill is having his best season. I think that he deserves to get recognized as one of the top quarterbacks and one of the top players in the National Football League, especially if the Titans can turn it around a little bit. They're fine. It's not the end of the world right now.
Right.
Losing to the Bengals was a little bit concerning, no question about it.
Right.
But I think they'll regroup and I think they'll be fine. And Ryan Tannehill is still doing very well, so let's give him that.
Right.
With that being said, as much as Patrick Mahomes, 1 interception, 115 QBR is tremendous, Russell Wilson is the best player in the National Football League this year. And again, I get it. Patrick Mahomes, they want to use him as the face of the National Football League. I totally understand that. And so when you have that situation, you want to try to make sure that player gets into as many, accolades as possible. But you have to look at it and be honest and say Russell Wilson has nearly thrown 30 touchdowns through one half of an NFL season. This guy is on pace to throw 60 touchdowns when it's all said and done. 60. When was the last time we saw a quarterback throw 60 touchdown passes in a season? I don't think ever.
Never. No. Simple answer.
I think the record is something like 52 or 53 that Drew Brees had in 2011 or 12.
Right.
It was something like that. But nonetheless, Russell Wilson is really showing that he is a top 3 NFL quarterback right now. And yeah, do the Seahawks have the world's greatest talent on defense? No. Do you want to argue that maybe, just maybe, Russell Wilson is the reason they've won a handful of the games that they've won? Yeah, but you're the quarterback. That's what you're supposed to do. Russell Wilson is doing what he needs to do. The opposite equivalent for the opposite of Russell Wilson to me is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is doing everything he can to lose games for the New York Giants. Russell Wilson is doing everything he can to win games for the Seattle Seahawks. He is the best overall player in the league this year, and he deserves to be recognized for that. So that's why I think Russell Wilson should be the MVP. But if he loses, and let's say he doesn't get another vote, what I just said about 5 minutes ago is no reason, and you can't deny it.
No.
But I'm going to go with Russell Wilson. I think my pick to begin the year was Deshaun Watson because I felt like after he got that contract, he had so much to prove this year with very little talent. I thought he was going to do it. Not entirely his fault because of everything that has gone on in Houston, but that's just me. But Russell Wilson, without a doubt, is my pick to win MVP at this point.
No, you definitely make a good case. And like I said, that man absolutely deserves an MVP vote without question. But no, I mean, I just look at Patrick Mahomes and I say the dude's on another level this year. And not to say Russell Wilson isn't as well. He also is. But I just look at Patrick Mahomes' numbers this year and the talent he has, and I say, you know what? he's definitely my MVP so far this year. So now let's talk about the most disappointing team so far in the AFC and the NFC. I actually want to start off in the NFC for this one because there are a ton of disappointing teams in the NFC. I mean, you look at the 49ers. I mean, you could make a case for the 49ers, but let's face it, they've been ravaged by injuries all year, so that may not be fair enough. So
especially when the expectations were high and it's disappointing, no doubt. But again, if they had their whole team healthy, I don't think it would be this way.
Exactly. So we're gonna leave them out of it. Look, the Falcons are the Falcons. I mean, they can't hold leads to save their lives. They're 2-6. I mean, the Vikings. Yeah, we didn't really expect much from the Vikings this year anyway, although they did get an impressive win against the Packers. But then I didn't want to go to this division. I really didn't. But considering the fact that the whole division is disappointing in itself, we have to. I mean, you really look at it. The Eagles are leading the NFC East at 3-4-1, followed by Washington at 2-5, the Cowboys at 2-6, the Giants at 1-7. But I think the most disappointing team for me is the Dallas Cowboys because, my dear God, what in the world happened to this team? I mean, I'm going to be real with you.
The quarterback got hurt. That's what happened.
I was just going to say that. The moment that Dak Prescott went down against the Giants, and again, I wish nothing but the best for him. He seems to be in really, really good spirits, so
absolutely.
Good on him. And I really, really hope he gets another chance to play because I really want him to come back and prove himself. But the moment that he went down, it pretty much went to hell for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, Andy Dalton was not the starter. He goes down with a concussion against Washington on a bogus hit. Oh, I don't know, by John Bostic. I don't know why he wasn't suspended for that hit, but that's beside the point. He did get thrown out of the game, which was rightfully so, but I think he still should have been suspended for that hit. You do not. That was an absolute cheap shot, but I digress. But now you're going to who was the quarterback they just brought in? Cooper Rush?
Cooper Rush, yeah.
And then you have Ben DiNucci. Your third string quarterback, and now your current starter, if Cooper Rush doesn't get the start this week, is Ben DiNucci, who we've never heard of. But I did my research. He did go to the University of Pittsburgh. Then he went to James Madison. And now all of a sudden he's getting his chance with the Dallas Cowboys.
First of all, this is really annoying to me about Ben DiNucci. People are like, I've never heard of him. I might be the only person that knew who Ben DiNucci was before this season.
Really?
I watched him play numerous times in college. I saw him beat the crap out of Monmouth. Sorry, Jimmy. I saw him beat the crap out of Monmouth, okay?
It's fine.
It's fine. He's a good quarterback.
Dude, honestly, it's not like Monmouth was any better.
Right. He went to James Madison, all right? That's not, big-time college football. But, he's still a very solid quarterback. You just have to look and realize that this team has given up. The Cowboys have given up. Once Dak got hurt, the soul of that football team was gone. That's what it is. And their defense is putrid. I mean, their defense, everybody on that defense
that defense may be the worst in football.
Yeah, you can make that argument. You really can.
I know they got Van Der Esch back, and they still have Sean Lee, but it's awful. It's awful. Those two guys aren't making it any better.
Nope. Nobody's doing well in the defense.
My goodness gracious.
Everybody should be cut.
Talk about a massive disappointment. I mean, not that the expectations were that high, but
no, they were high.
That's supposed to be at least a playoff contender.
Jimmy, you knew that. Jimmy, it's the Cowboys. You know they were high.
Fair enough. And plus, I stupidly picked them to win the division, and that's not looking good right now. But
they can still win it. It's not out of the.
Anybody could. The NFC East is that bad. Even the Giants, even though I still don't think they're a playoff team, but I digress there. But look, the Cowboys to me are the most disappointing team in the NFC right now, considering the fact that they had these expectations. Both quarterbacks go down. You're now relying on Ben DiNucci and Cooper Rush to be the saviors of your team. And how good is that going to do you? It is not going to do you any good. And look, everybody's talking about, is Mike McCarthy on the hot seat?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you think he is? I don't think he'll survive this year.
You know, there's a reason. McCarthy got fired from Green Bay. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a reason why Aaron Rodgers is doing well without Mike McCarthy. So it's pretty much.
Yep. And look, Mike Nolan.
Terrible.
His defense was probably better off in the 90s. He just needs to go. They need to change their absolute trash. But bottom line, Dallas Cowboys, the most disappointing team to me in the NFC. Period. No questions.
Well, like you mentioned, there are a lot of teams that are disappointing, but I'm just going to come out and flat out say it. The most disappointing team is that entire damn division. I'm not picking one. I'm picking all of them. They are all incredibly disappointing because
Fair enough.
Washington and the Giants, let's face it, they're about as good as we expected them to be, or they're about as bad as they, so again, but, Cowboys and Eagles, last year was a joke. This year is even more of a joke. So, look, none of these teams want to make the playoffs. None of these teams want to win, period. They're not even trying to win. And the entire division has combined for 8 wins. 8 wins, Jimmy. That's terrible. And guess what? I think this is a crazy idea, but I think that this division is so bad that what the NFL should do is eliminate the NFC East and put every single one of these teams in a different division and not have this division anymore. Because the fact that you have 4 piss-poor teams in the same division is unacceptable. The fact that one of these teams is going to get a home playoff game,
that's an absolute travesty.
500 record is disgusting. It's actually disgusting. So for me, the answer is easy. The most disappointing team or teams is the entire NFC least. That's the answer.
Oh my goodness. Simple and to the point. And you're definitely not wrong.
Rutgers can go out and beat the Cowboys right now.
Yep.
Terrible.
Absolutely.
Terrible.
So with that being said, that's the NFC. Let's go to the AFC. Now,
I know where this is going, so let's hurry up with this.
Yeah, this is kind of easy for me, but let's just break it down real quick. The Jets are the Jets. We know that. We don't need to waste our time with the Jets.
No, you're done.
0-16, here they come. Look, the Jaguars, we know about the Jaguars. The Chargers, we didn't really expect much, although Justin Herbert, oh my goodness gracious, he looks – I think it's safe to say the Chargers have found their franchise quarterback.
Bro,
Justin Herbert –
I picked him up on fantasy, and I've been balling out ever since.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Because that kid is an absolute stud. I mean, the Broncos are just all kinds of disappointing. I mean, Drew Lock has been disappointing in his own right. I mean, everything around him is terrible. The O-line is bad. Defense is bad. I mean, give them credit. They did come back against the Chargers. But
yeah, because the Chargers can't
hold the lead. They're like the Falcons 2.0, except in a different division. But I digress there. Wow. But this one's easy for me. The most disappointing team to me in the AFC, it's the New England Patriots. Because where the hell did they go?
Whoa!
Yes, I said it. The New England Patriots are the most disappointing team to me in the AFC. Because look, I get it. 20 straight consecutive seasons of nothing but winning. I get that. You have a new quarterback. I get that. But Bill Belichick is still your head coach. You would have think that he would have figured all of this out by now. Now, granted, Cam Newton has been hurt. I get that. And a couple of their top defensive guys opted out because of COVID and everything. I get that. But even still, you're considered to be one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. You mean to tell me that you can't figure this out?
No, he can.
And you know what that proves to me? Brady was more important.
Oh, my God. You people.
I'm sorry. I'm going there. I am going there. Yes, I said it. I'm sorry. I had to go there. But listen, bottom line for me is, I'm sorry. The Patriots are a massive disappointment. I'm not saying they're done because, hey, they could still turn things around and prove me wrong. They could. Anything can happen. Crazier things have happened in sports. But as of right now, halfway through, I'm sorry. It's the New England Patriots.
Well, I think, first of all, for most football fans, it's just fun to see the Patriots suck. I think that's the number one.
It's true. It's true. Especially if you're a Jet fan, you got to be happy.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I don't know what you're talking about, but no. Anyway.
Oh, my God.
Here's the thing. Bill Belichick, he has won Super Bowls without Brady. Okay? First of all, let's just, again, he was a defensive coordinator, and I get that. But he won Super Bowls.
Right.
Jimmy, remind me if I'm wrong here, but didn't the Patriots look really bad last year? Towards the end? Down the stretch? Especially against Miami in Week 17?
Yeah, when Tom Brady's last pass as a Patriot was a pick six.
Who was the quarterback of that team?
Of the Patriots?
Yes.
I just said Tom Brady.
So, it wasn't like that we already didn't know this was coming. We didn't know. Oh, okay, and yeah, the Bucks are 5-2. 5-2. Whoopee doing my Subaru, okay? They nearly lost to the Giants, right? Honestly.
True.
And yes, you can make the argument, and I get it, you can make the argument that maybe it was Brady over Belichick. I personally don't think it was.
Okay.
Because guess what? Tom Brady is the luckiest person on the face of planet Earth.
Oh, my God.
If it wasn't for Lewis knocking out Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady would have never seen the field. We never would have known what he would have been, and he probably would have been out of the league by 2002. That's just the honest truth, okay? But Bill Belichick did a phenomenal job of building a team around Tom Brady, making a defense as good as it was. The team went 18-1 in 2007. 2007, they nearly went undefeated. And now the Patriots come into this season, no Tom Brady. A handful of the players have opted out. They're not at full strength. A bunch of guys are hurt. Julian Edelman is playing on one leg half the time.
Oh.
Cam Newton, honestly, is over the hill. I hate saying it, but his injuries have hurt him.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I can't evaluate that. I can't sit there and say, oh, it was all Tom Brady. No, it wasn't, because guess what? I guarantee the Patriots would be 2-5 with Tom Brady right now.
What?
The team that they have, yes, because their offensive line isn't that good, shockingly. Offensive line isn't good. The weapons that they have are so-so. Even Edelman, who had that great game against Seattle a couple weeks ago, is not the same. And half of their defense opted out. What is Bill Belichick supposed to do? He's doing the best he can, and he made it clear yesterday, if you remember, saying we put all of our chips on the table and tried to go win as many Super Bowls as we possibly could. We sold out, so to speak. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do when you have the team that you have. But if Tom Brady was still on the Patriots, they'd be 2-5, and people would be wondering if Tom Brady should just retire. But now that Tom Brady's on a team that is more, has more of its main players and is more prepared to go to the Super Bowl right away, all of a sudden Tom Brady could play another 10 years. If Tom Brady had a bad offensive line, he would be nothing right now. Nothing. So my opinion is that Bill Belichick is still the main reason for the Patriots' success, because I think he would have won Super Bowls without Tom Brady. Okay. And this is the first year as a head coach, other than when he was in Cleveland in the 90s, that he doesn't have Tom Brady.
Right.
Give him time. He'll figure it out.
Okay.
It might not be this year, but in the future, just watch what happens.
Okay.
Anyway. Most disappointing team is the Jets. Come on, man. Like, it's the Jets.
I absolutely knew you were going to go there.
What? Where else am I going to go?
Jets!
Look,
I think we already knew they were going to be terrible to begin with.
We knew they were going to be bad. Did we think they were going to be this bad? They haven't won a game And not only that, they don't know how to play football.
Fair.
They don't know how to play the damn sport that they're playing. They have a coach who completely is shocked that he's a job. Shocked. An ownership group that doesn't give a flying you-know-what. No talent on offense. No talent on defense. No talent on special teams. No talent on the training staff. I mean, really? I mean, this is terrible. At least the Browns and the Lions, right? When they went 0-16, they were trying to win. They were trying everything they could to win a freaking game.
Right.
The Jets have not gotten close in any game they played to winning. Close. They deserve to suffer because their ownership doesn't care. And that's what you get with this. So the Jets are the most disappointing, asinine team I've ever seen in the history of football. There is no other team that is worse. If the 0-16 Lions or Browns played this Jets team, they would win.
Oh,
that is how
that
bad
I agree with. Absolutely.
This Jets team is. So disappointing. It wouldn't, yeah, they could have, they probably should win 2 or 3 games. We looked at the schedule. I think I even picked them to win 2 or 3 games. I didn't think they'd go 0-16.
I think we both had them 3-13 this year.
0-16, Jimmy.
Yep.
They're going to go 0-16.
Yep.
They're not even trying. They literally just want to lose. Look at it. Look at what just happened this past week. First quarter, the Chiefs run a fake punt, and it worked. Because the Jets don't care. That's how much people don't care about the Jets. They are a disgrace to football. They are a disgrace. And they play in the biggest media market in the world, or right outside of it. They're terrible. Why would Trevor Lawrence want to go there?
Oh.
Why would he want to sacrifice?
If I'm him, I'm staying an extra year at Clemson. I'm sorry.
Well,
I am not tarnishing myself with that pathetic team.
That's what my video is on. That's coming out later on today. It's on why Trevor Lawrence should not go to the Jets.
That's it. There you go.
Just watch it, and you'll know. Or go buy my book, and you'll know. This team sucks. This team has always sucked.
And by the way, if you haven't seen it in the description of most of the episodes, the link to buy Neil's book is in the description of each episode. So please go click the link on Amazon and please buy it.
So the Jets are a steaming pile of dirt. I mean, really, like they are an insult to garbage.
Oh my God.
They are an insult to garbage. They just terrible. So the Jets are the most disappointing team, not just in the AFC, but the most disappointing team in all of sports. There's no other team worse than the New York Jets.
Why did I have a strong feeling you were going to pick the Jets anyway? I don't know. Not that I don't deserve it, because they have been massively disappointing.
They suck.
But I don't know, man. But anyway, to end things on a lighter note on this episode, real quick here, a Rookie of the Year so far. Now, to me, again, it comes down to 2 guys. Yes,
no, the rookie of the Year is Denzel Mims. Oh, wait, he hasn't played a game.
Oh, man. Anyway.
I'm a Jets fan, but I'm not. Like, people think that I'm a Jets fan, and I'm not even a Jets fan.
No, you're not. You're a Giants fan, just like myself. And, hey, again, we will make this argument. Again, at least the Giants are trying. They are at least competitive. Are the Jets competitive?
Bro, I will trade Daniel Jones for Sam Darnold right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Bro, you want to lose? Like, you want to lose the rest of your games? Do that. Because Daniel Jones will give you a chance to lose.
I mean, to be fair, I will agree with you on this. If Sam Darnold was on the Giants, because their O-line is still bad, but it has been a little bit better. I will give it that. But if Sam Darnold was on the Giants, they would win a couple of more games. I will agree with you on that.
Bro,
absolutely.
Jimmy, you know this as well as I do. You know they would be like 5-2 right now. They would.
They probably would. They probably would.
And they'd be kicking, and they'd be the most surprising team in the National Football League.
Yes.
So that's just, whatever. Can we
it's
on?
It's whatever. But anyway.
I'm getting burned out talking about this.
So am I.
On the last topic. Let's wrap it up here.
Yeah. Anyway, so Rookie of the Year. So to me, again, it comes down to 2 guys. Justin Herbert, who I mentioned before, or Joe Burrow. And
no Clyde Edwards-Helaire? No.
Yeah. If you want to add him, yeah, we can definitely talk about him because
we all know what
he's. We all know what he.
The Vikings.
Wait, what's that?
Justin Jefferson as well.
Oh,
he's really doing well.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of candidates for Rookie of the Year. Absolutely, especially that kid in Kansas City, like you said. My goodness, but to me, at least, well, actually, I'll add him too. Good. But when I just look at these three guys, and there's definitely potential in all three of them. But, and I mentioned Justin Herbert before. I mean, that kid is an absolute stud. And I think it's safe to say, like I said, that the Chargers have definitely found their franchise quarterback without question. He is going to be a stud for many years. But to me, I think Rookie of the Year so far is Joe Burrow. I really think that Joe Burrow has really, really impressed on a Bengals team that still is not all that great. He doesn't have that. I mean, who would you say, Neil, is Joe Burrow's favorite target right now?
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, exactly. Thank you. But and they still have they still have Mixon, right? Mixon is still on the team.
Yeah,
he's been pretty solid too. But other than that, the Bengals really aren't.
Himself. Himself. John Ross wants out.
Yeah, that's true. So the Bengals still are not all that impressive, but Joe Burrow has really, really stood out this season. And the one aspect of why I think he's Rookie of the Year is his toughness. I mean, the fact that he keeps getting beat down game after game after game. He keeps taking all these hits, and he still gets back up.
He has no offensive line. What do you want from him?
Win.
He has no offensive line. What do you want from him?
Exactly. But the fact that he continues to get up from being knocked down and continues to fight to give his team the best chance to win, my Rookie of the Year so far is Joe Burrow.
So I'm going to read you something, and I want you to guess who I'm talking about. And that will be my answer to the question. Since at least 1970, this quarterback is the only player to have 1,500 passing yards and a 100-plus passer rating in his first 5 games in the NFL. He is fourth in the entire league with a 308.4 passing yards per game.
Justin Herbert.
You are absolutely correct. Justin Herbert, to me, is the Rookie of the Year.
Okay, all right.
Look, we know that Joe Burrow has very little around him. He's doing the best he can, and he looks pretty good. And I think if you build the team around him correctly, he could be really good. But I think when you look at Rookie of the Year, who's really had the better rookie year? To me, it's Justin Herbert. He has done a lot more with good pieces around him, and they're not even fully healthy offensively. But this kid has a tremendous arm, great accuracy. He's a bona fide leader on this team. And yes, they should have 2 or 3 more wins if their defense didn't blow it every single week. And that's another reason why he's so valuable, because if they didn't have him, they probably would be getting blown out a lot more. So for me, I think that Justin Herbert is the Rookie of the Year this year.
No, you definitely make a very good case. And would it surprise me if he won it? Absolutely not. I think he should definitely be considered for that award. But to me, just because of his toughness, I think it's Joe Burrow. But that's just me. And on that note, that will wrap it up for this episode of the Bottom Line Podcast. If you have any thoughts on anything we discussed, let us know on Twitter and Instagram at BottomLineWMCX, and on Twitter at the NVP Show, #BottomLine. Leave a voice message on the Anchor app or at anchor.fm. And please, again, if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like and a comment down below. Helps out tremendously. And please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss a single episode. And please subscribe on all audio listening platforms. Just include Jimmy when searching for this podcast. So before we wrap things up real quick here, I know I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that Neil and I were supposed to do a couple of Whalers games a couple of weeks ago, but unfortunately that did not happen because a player on the team did test positive for COVID-19. Oh, sorry, Neil, go ahead.
We have one game this week.
Yes, we do. That's exactly where I was going.
Sunday at 2, right?
We have one this weekend.
Yeah, and it's on Sunday at 2:00.
Yes. I will definitely get to that. in a little bit, but I just wanted, from what I did hear, the player who tested positive is okay, and the team is still practicing. So thank God for that. But the game for this Sunday is still on. This Sunday, November 8th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whalers elite team against the Rockets Hockey Club, and I gotta tell you, this is not going to be easy for the Whalers because the Rockets Hockey Club are one of the best teams in the USPHL right now. They're firing on all cylinders. They can score. They can block. I mean, they have great goaltending. It's not going to be an easy test for the Whalers, but it'll be a good test, but it won't be easy. So if you want to watch the game, hockeytv.com, purchase a subscription, and catch every single Whalers game and all other games on Hockey TV all season long. Neil and I will be on the call starting at 2:20-ish for a pregame show, and then puck drop will be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on hockeytv.com. Again, go on there, get a subscription. I'll post a link in the description below if you're watching on YouTube and then you're listening on all audio platforms as well. But Whalers against the Rockets Hockey Club, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Be there or be square. But, Neil, it should be a fun game. This was a fun episode. I can't wait for this weekend, my man.
Sounds good. Same here. I'm always excited to call some games and looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to get back to work. For Neil Villapiano, I'm Jimmy Finizzi. This is the Bottom Line Podcast. See you in the next episode. And like I said earlier, please just be kind to one another. We all need it. Take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your week. Peace out.